Tim McIntyre.
Mr Speaker, on behalf of the current and all former New Zealand governments, I sincerely apologise to all Babylonians who may have been affected at some stage in a way that they find detrimental to their own well-being by those governments of the day. Sir, on a more serious level, the previous member made the comment that the National Party should apologise to Maori. Well, I want to say, particularly while both Maori members of the Maori Party are in this House, that I am incredibly proud of the fact that this government is unparalleled in our record of being not only apologetic but also committed to righting wrongs that have been done to Maori in generations gone past. And with the treaty settlements process now well advanced because of the energy of the Honourable Christopher Henderson, supported by the Maori Party and our entire caucus, I say that our apology is absolutely sincere because we have shown it through our actions. Sir, as other members have noted, this is Sign Language Week, and unfortunately I don't know whether fluent is the right term, I don't have the ability to communicate in sign language, but I do acknowledge all the hearing impaired members of our communities, including in my own constituency of Hamilton West. And I also thank all of those wonderful people who work with them to help them to lead full and fulfilling lives, because we can only imagine, those of us who are not hearing impaired, just how alienating that experience must be. Although, having said that, sir, of course, when you're a member of this chamber, you can quite often feel utterly deafened by the babble that is going on around us. And I just have to hope that none of us suffer long-term impairment with our hearing, although I'm sure it can't be good for our mental health to be here forever and a day. Sir, can I also note that last week, two very exciting things happened on my home patch in Hamilton. The first was the opening of Rotatuna Junior High School, the first new high school for all other than a kura kaupapa to be opened in our city for about more than a generation. I think the last one was Hillcrest High School back in the 1970s. It's a wonderful achievement. I pay tribute to the hard work of the Northeast Schools Action Group, my colleague David Bennett, who lobbied on this issue for many, many years, and I celebrate with that school community this wonderful, wonderful thing that has happened that was funded by the national government. I also want to acknowledge an outstanding festival that was held at our magnificent Claudelands venue of the Waikato and Bay of Plenty Secondary Schools Pacifica by Nature Festival. And sir, a number of people probably don't think of going to events of that sort. I simply want to say, if you have an opportunity, you sir personally and all who are listening, go to Pacifica by Nature next year, because it was one of the most outstanding pieces of entertainment I've seen in a long time. And to all of the secondary schools who took part, I want to say a very big well done, because they worked hard, they entertained us brilliantly. I was able to stay for 4 schools, 3 of which were from within Hamilton, and I was particularly proud of their efforts, but I want to single out Hamilton Girls High School, who won 3 of the special awards, 6 special awards, and were judged winners overall. What a fantastic effort that was. But also honourable mentions to Fraser High School, Melville High School, Hamilton Boys and Hillcrest High School. Boy, they were good. Sir, the great problem for the Labour Party, and they're demonstrating it again right now, is that they are obsessed in this House with Beltway issues. And we've been focusing today on a really important issue, and we are still waiting for the apology that the Minister of Housing invited them at the start of this debate to deliver. Because they should, and I say this with my good friend and colleague Dr. Yang right beside me, they owe an apology and they should be delivering it to the Chinese communities, the citizens and constituents that we all are proud to represent in this country. Because this is a party, this once proud Labour Party, that argued last year that people with Chinese-sounding names were responsible for 40% of Auckland property purchases, and that has been shown in the last couple of days with some data that's been collected to be utter bunkum. There was no evidence for that outrageous suggestion. It was just a bigoted hunch on their part for short-term populist political advantage. And boy, did it rebound on them, and I'm so glad that it did. Because now that the data has been produced debunking that absolutely ludicrous assertion, what do we have? We've got Mr. Twyford and his colleagues attacking the data. Well, how ridiculous is that? So on this side of the House, we are focused on the things that matter. And with our recent pre-budget announcements, the extra funding for Pharmac, really important, really welcomed. The support for teacher aides that's been given today, and a whole other things, the battle for birds from Maggie Barry. We are getting on with the things that matter, and I'm very proud to support those efforts. Those things matter to New Zealanders.
Well said.
Madam